Hey, good afternoon. It's a pretty unseasonably cool Sunday afternoon here in Pancourt, and so I've decided it's a good day to try to make some progress on some of the work that needs to be completed. A little while back, I began this particular painting. As you can see, I hope, it's a scene that I took from the water's edge in Pancourt, one of my favorite places to get inspired by. And I worked a lot on the sky and on the water, but in the foreground there were a lot of beautiful duck grass plants growing out in front of the water. And I made these marks to begin, showing them, but I was very unsatisfied with the result. And today, as it happens, I had on my work table, I had a piece, I often use dryer sheets to create textures. So I picked up this piece of used dryer sheet and I started ripping it. And, when you rip this, it makes a nice edge, like the tear. It's nice and uneven, and it looks fluffy the way these duck grass heads look up against the stormy sky. So I decided I'm going to put the piece flat now so you can see it better. So this afternoon what I've done is I've torn some of these pieces of used dryer sheets. So you can, it doesn't matter how big you tear them because you can always shape them, you can stretch them. And when you do that, you pull the fibers. See, the fibers just still stay attached, but they stretch out, And then once I've taken a piece out like that, I simply, I'll show you. I simply dip it in some matte medium. You can use matte or glossy, whatever you've got lying around. I just put some here on my palette and I dip that in there. And then once it's soaked with medium, then you can shape it. And so I decide, let's say I'm going to put this particular piece over here. So I lay it down and I can stretch it out. I can fold this on top like that, and make the tip more pointy. Or if it annoys me too much, I can always tear it, to make more of a point. You can tear it and you can move it around, and you can even tear this remaining piece so that you can stretch out the other piece onto the beginning of the next shape that you want to texture. And you can play with it like that, you see? And if you take the edge and you use your fingernail and you pull it out, it makes like a ragged edge to your plant, or to your whatever you want to call this. I'm not even sure what it's called. I think there's some kind of reeds. We call them duck grass because we have so many river ducks here, and they make their nests in these stands of plants. So you can just do that, and right now you can see it's not finished. It's going to need more medium, and the more layers of medium you put, the harder this will dry. So you can, I just use my finger because it's just easier, and then I just spread more medium on top of what I've glued, and it dries clear anyway, so it doesn't matter that it's, over the edges or whatever. It's not important because it dries clear. So you just do that and you shape your plants however you want. So this may or may not work out. I think it'll be okay, but this has been sitting on the ground in my studio for a while because I just couldn't decide what to do about it. And today I thought, I'll try this method because just because I happened to see the piece of dryer sheet like sitting on my table. So this is how it happens. So I guess the moral of the story is don't be too tidy because you never know what you could do with the stuff you find lying around eventually. So I'm just going to keep doing this, and after a while this will dry. I mean, you can always use a hair dryer to it to speed up the process, which I may or may not do, but either way it will dry quickly enough and it will harden. And once it's hardened, then you can paint it. And it will create a very, it'll create like a gently textured surface because it's not thick like, paste, like molding paste or anything like that. But it'll give the impression of, the fluffiness of these plants growing along the water's edge. And that's what I want. Like most of this painting is, in blues and greens and things. But I wanna find a way to make these stand out, So for now, I'll create the texture and stay tuned for the next step. Thanks for listening.